Hello, my name is Britt. Welcome to my studio. I'm going to do some mixed media art on a journal page and show you how to do it step by step. I have been doing art journaling for a few years. I really like doing it. It's very good for stress relief and just for my well-being, just to put colour down on paper, words down on paper and just play. Let's go. I start by putting some colour and then I will put some words down. I have picked 5 different acrylic colours and I always have a cup of water, and I like to mix the paint with a little bit of water to spread it easier. And here I'm putting down the word precious as the word for the day, and I also put down words that are associated with precious, different meanings of precious, while I ponder on remembering that I am very precious and everybody are. Putting down words and colours on paper is a very good way to relax and kind of meditate on the truth of who you are. I will use acrylic colours, some glue and some oil pastels in this exercise today. And you can use whatever you have for hand at home. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. This is more just an inspiration for you to help you get going in creating a mixed media page in an art journal. To avoid the pages sticking together, it's a good idea to put paper under the page that you are working on, because the wet paint can make the pages a bit sticking together. I love pink, so I've decided to fill this page with mainly pink today, but I will add other colours as we go along and just how I feel. There's no rules here. You just do what you enjoy doing and what you feel in the moment. That's part of being intuitive when you paint. And as I'm covering the words and adding different colours, I am mindful of the word precious today. There's something very relaxing about just not having to create anything specific, but adding colours onto the page and just see the paint move on the paper. Sometimes I will use an old credit card or shop card as a tool to spread paint onto the paper. I use it for canvases as well, but it's a nice tool and a different way of making marks on the page. I always have a bit of white paint on my plate because I like to mix any colours I have with white when I spread it out. So again, I'm just using acrylic colours. I've got the normal acrylic, and I also got some fluid acrylics and some acrylic inks. Just keep mixing the colours until the page is filled and until I feel happy to do the next step. You don't need any expensive brushes. The brush I'm using here is from a craft store. You can also get them online. And I'm using a few different size brushes. I will put everything I use in the comments below. I always have plenty of kitchen roll as well to wipe the brushes in between colours, but also if you have kitchen roll with a bit of pattern, it's quite nice to put on the page and then lift it off. Baby wipes are always handy as well for keeping yourself clean. So yeah, keep filling here. A bit more blue, a bit more white, a bit more pink. I've speeded up the video a little bit here so that you will spend less time watching and you can have more time to play yourself. So give it a clean and a wipe. Okay, now I'm ready to put my butterfly on. I just found a butterfly pattern online and copied it. You can find something in a magazine. And I keep old scraps of paper. When I have leftover paints, I will put it on a piece of paper, normally thicker paper like watercolour paper or a little bit of card. And then I use that to add to my mixed media pages. I can cut flowers, birds, butterflies, or just have pieces of paper. Anything, nothing go wasted. Scraps of paper and leftover paints I will use. So here we go. I've cut up a butterfly and I'd use just normal PVA glue. I'm going to stick that onto the page. And the nice thing about having paper that's a little bit thicker is that it won't rip so easy, and also it makes the texture of on the page look nice. Makes it a bit more 3D. So there's the butterfly. I don't know what colour it's going to end up being or what I'm going to do to it yet. Again, I just follow whatever, where I want to go. I'm thinking a few splats is always nice. So you do that by mixing some of the acrylic paint with water, so the paintbrush is very wet. And then you splatter it on, either by knocking it on your finger or by just pulling the actual bristles with your finger. It gives a nice little droplet effect on the page. Now, if you've got some leftover bubble wrap, that can be quite nice to make some pattern on the page. So all I do is I dab some paint on the bubbles, and then I just press them down on the paper to leave a print. It brings some more life to the page. So bubble wrap is always handy. And you might find you have many other tools in your house or bits and bobs that you can use. Corks, plastic bottles, things to make circles, lines. That's the nice thing about mixed media and art journaling. You just play and you test and use what you have. So the back of a paintbrush is always good to use for dots. Sometimes I use that. There are tools that you can use for making dots as well, but the back of the paintbrush works really well. And cotton buds also works well. I love yellow. So bright. So now I'm just leaving some marks on the page just to bring some life and extra colour. And then I thought, why not doing the butterfly yellow? But there will be layers, there'll be other things on top. The point for me with the process is not creating something specific. Like I said before, it's more the process and the feeling of just playing with paint and putting colour onto paper. And it makes me relax. I find it soothing. I don't have to think too much about other things other than putting a bit of colour down and enjoying the beauty of the different colours. Squares and circles and lines. Just put down whatever you feel like. And again, remember there's no rules. You can put 1, 2, 4, 5, whatever, how many you want. And you can mix the colours. I quite often put down squares and circles, and then I outline them, and then I add more dots and lines, And quite often they turn into flowers. Not always, but I do have I do like painting flowers and birds and butterflies. So a lot of things turns into flowers in my art journals. Sometimes I find when I have done an art journal page, it might inspire me to do a painting onto a canvas of something similar. Not always, sometimes it's just a way of relaxing. Other times I will use it as inspiration for get going on maybe a bigger painting. I thought the boxes needed a bit of brightening up, so I'll do some lighter colours and lines. And finger painting is always a good thing. Kind of takes you back to your childhood, just feeling the paint, moving it around, playing and have no idea how it's going to end. I'll do a few dots there, might end up as flowers, might not. It's just enjoying the moment. Whenever we've done workshops with people and show them how to do art journaling and just giving them a few tools and ideas, I love to see how everybody are giving the same tools, but they make something completely different. It's just whatever they feel like doing. And I also love the feedback we always get, that time just flies and they've felt so relaxed and enjoyed just being in the present, not having to worry about tomorrow. That's the beauty of art journaling. I'll keep adding layers onto the butterfly because I like to. If it gets very wet, if I put lots of paint on, sometimes I will just use a hairdryer and go over it quickly, or I will leave it and come back later. Just feel like making some squiggly lines here. Maybe they will become leaves or plant or something. I always like green on pink. I'd like to add some more yellow up in the corner here. And I've got a little brush, and I can make petals by just pressing down the brush. No plans, just playing. And again, I just press down the head of the brush to make little petals and dots and turn it into some flowers. Putting some white on the top to make the flowers pop a bit more. Add some white around here. So you see you can add dots and lines and petals, leaves, flowers, squares, whatever you like. It's a bit like when you were in school and just did some doodling. Do you remember the freedom of that, if you ever did it? I still doodle today. That is something that is very relaxing to do. And sometimes it's a bit like that on a page of an art journal. You do some doodling, pick your favourite colours or any colour and just do some. Turquoise is one of my favourites too, and the oil pastels. I love the feel of it. You can make some lines, and then if you rub with your fingers, it makes a really nice, smooth, shiny effect. So here I'm just picking whatever colour and go around some of the things that I've painted to make some marks and outlines. And I just rub it with my fingers. When you have put down oil pastels, I normally do that at the end on a page, because if you try to paint over oil pastels, it doesn't work that well. So the pastels is something you want to do towards the end. The never-ending butterfly, I keep adding more colours. I like to use fingers, and I can use some paper to lift paint. Use pens to make dots and marks and lines. Your imagination is the only limit here. This is fluid acrylic, which I've started using a lot the last year. I love the intensity of the colour and the freedom and how flexible it is when it is fluid. Sometimes I'll spray water on it and it will spread out beautifully. Sometimes I use fingers, paintbrush, whatever I feel like. You can also mix them really nicely with other paints. Posca pens, what a wonderful thing they are. They are waterproof, so you can mix them onto your paintings, your papers, whatever you are putting your colours on. And there are so many different colours you can get them in, and different size of the nib as well of the pen. So they're really nice to use. Again, I normally will use them towards the end of a page, but if it's a painting on canvas, I can put it on any time really. So making a mark around the leaves, a bit more on the stalk, using different greens just to bring more life into it. A bit on this side. So I'm just going to finish off with a little bit more outlining with the oil pastels. Just dabbing it on and smoothing it out with the fingers. Such a lovely feeling. A little bit more yellow. Always enjoy the finger painting. Just dabbing it on. And I could see some of the words through the paint, sorry. So I pick up the word precious and I write over it again. Because that's the word I wanted to remember. All done. I hope you enjoy doing some mixed media with me, and I hope this will encourage you to do some for yourself. You don't need lots of different items to get started, just a few paints, paper, some paintbrushes and pens, and just get going. If you want to see more, you can find more on my website, Brit Bura Art.